Welcome to my journey from Ontario all the way to Belize. All right, first stop down the road, Panera. It's breakfast time. All right, so Ava's gonna try and eat in the back with the dogs, but they're getting her food stolen. Wish us best of luck. See you at our next stop. Well, this is just a boatload of fun. Just a boatload. We're about 20 minutes in traffic. Well, first truck stop. A run for everyone that needs it. There wasn't too much to see driving through this part of Ontario. Checking out all the windmills. Right, second or third en route. I don't remember anymore, lost track. Doggy break. A little run, a little washroom break. Hey bud. Hi. Hello. And after a long drive to the border, here we are. We're crossing the, I think it's called the Ambassador Bridge, over to the US border. We're so excited to see this. Little did we know the trip ahead was going to be a nightmare. And if I could, I'd go back and I wouldn't go over that bridge. Well, we made it. We passed the drug sniff test. My dogs lost their shit. We're here. I'll let you know if we make it through. So we thought everything was going smoothly until we hit Missouri. We had stopped for dinner and then this happened. The axle of my trailer blew apart and I was without a trailer. When it happened, the tire blew off and almost killed the people behind me. Thank God they stopped and they helped me figure it out, and police came and he called a towing company for me. The towing company was, I believe it was called D&D, and the man who came was Don. They were fabulous. They even helped me ask their neighbor if he would sell his trailer to me, and he didn't want to, but he did because he's a great human being and realized I was screwed. So we stopped at a hotel while that was all going on and I cleaned some laundry. I think it was a Motel 8 I stopped at. It was clean. It was what we needed. And the man who worked at the front desk, he was from the Caribbean. He was so helpful and such a pleasure to meet. The next day we went and unloaded my trailer and reloaded the trailer I bought off the shop's neighbor. And he was amazing. He's been texting me my entire trip and checking in to make sure we're okay, cheering us along the entire way, and we had no idea what was going to happen. I thought this was the end of the nightmare and this was just the beginning. So when I get to Mexico, the border was horrible. They stopped me and made me pay them off. So let me explain the whole customs ordeal. When I got to the border, they searched my trailer, didn't make me pull anything out, thank God, but they were definitely debating it. They let me go through. And I knew I had to get paperwork, so I asked anyways, and the security said, no, you're fine to go. And I said, are you sure? And they said, no, you have to go in and get your paperwork. So they totally tried to screw me over. And I knew the difference. So I went into the office and it was very confusing. No one really spoke English. You have to go get your personal permit and then you go to another desk where this old lady was sitting. I'm not quite sure what her purpose was, but I ended up finding out later. I think she was the manager, and that's the lady who ended up bribing me and pulling me into an office. So from there, from getting mine and Ava's permits, we went to this lineup, which was not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go to this little old lady at the counter, tell her what you have as a vehicle, then you go get all of your documents copied. Then you get in the line to declare your vehicle and get your permit for your vehicle. I would also like to let everyone know, if you don't know this, you also have to get Mexican insurance, which In the long run, didn't end up doing anything for us because we ended up breaking down, which is to come in the video. So when I was at customs, this lady came up to me, the little old lady, and I ended up getting bribed because they weren't going to let me in with my trailer. Because it was originally a US trailer. But as you all know, I had to get it done because my trailer blew apart. This part of my drive is in Dallas, Texas. It was probably the only part of Texas I enjoyed.
Man agrees. It's fucking hot, man. I gotta pee.
Well, not quite sure what happened, but we got sheriffs going crazy. We got a helicopter coming in on this highway that just got shut down in front of us. We're stuck in traffic. There goes the helicopter. For the day. And this time it's not us causing the flashing lights or the excitement. Phones and customs, so I got this quick little clip. Made it to Mexico, had to get customs paid off to get through, but we're here. May have cost almost $1,000 American to pay them off, and I had to follow them to a bank machine, but I'm here. So this was probably one of the most scariest moments of my life. The car in front of me is the customs officer manager, and she's got security in there with her. And I'm being made to follow her to the bank so I can get cash to pay her off. So the only reason why I had to go to the bank with her is because I didn't have enough cash on me that she wanted, and I showed her my wallet and she wasn't happy with it. So when we got to the bank, she wanted to take my bank card and go in, and I said no. And Matt was following me on the Find It app, and he ran from his hotel to find me. So it was terrifying, and we ended up having to pay $1,000 to get my trailer through. And now as we're at the border to go to Belize, we're finding out that we don't have the right documentation. So we got on the road, and then we got stopped after 2 checkpoints where they let us through, and this happened. The military wanted us to pay them off here as well. That's what Matt is on the phone with someone who speaks English, and they're letting him know that we have to pay him a tax to continue safely. And we asked for a receipt, kind of being a smart ass, knowing that we weren't going to get one, and they just laughed at us. So they tried to say we needed to pay a tax on the trailer that we didn't pay at customs, and it was just a nightmare. I would really recommend no one ever drive through Mexico. I will never personally step foot in Mexico again.
Pay for the tools. So pull some money out so no one sees it.
$100 they want us to pay right now. Here. Here, wait, Ava, give it to me. Hold on. So after being a little bit behind, having to pay the police off, We were driving and it got really dark and we were not happy about it because we said we were not going to do that. Our Mexican friend who's a lawyer told us never drive in the dark. We scrambled to get to a safer city and stayed at this cute little hotel. We are staying in Holness, I think is what it's called, or how it's pronounced. They had one room left. Our room is right there on the corner. They're dog friendly. They have a pool, they have a trailer park. They have a restaurant. They have a mini putt. Cute. And I think it was only $69 American. Alright, here we are at our first Mexican stay over. It's cold. It looks deep, be careful. From our Facebook group that we are part of, like Travel Buddies in Mexico, we were suggested we stay here because it's pet friendly and it's super cute and it's super cheap. We just ordered food from the restaurant. It cost me $18 American per meal. This was the menu from in the resort. The food was okay. I had the rice and chili and it's not what you would think rice and chili was, and it was delicious. Pasta, not so great. So they really didn't have any room for us, but they gave us a 1-bedroom and I had blow-up mattresses. That was our breakfast. And then all hell broke loose. We stopped to get oil before we got on the road and we caused quite the kerfuffle. We drew a lot of attention to ourselves in this tiny mountain village. Ava and I decided it was best we stayed in the car because our hair draws quite a bit of attention to us. And Matt by himself draws enough attention to himself. So we got some oil and then got on the road and then it went south from there, literally, in all aspects. So we were just stuck in traffic and someone up ahead of us was walking down the highway and he pulled out a gun on one of the trucks in front of us. I don't know what the truck in front of us did, but they did something to scare him and he ran off. We're finally moving now. Let's hope we don't get stuck in traffic again. So we went on to our Facebook group and gave everyone a heads up that there were robbers on the highway between where we were on 57D. And apparently this happens a lot, and someone had informed us that the truckers were kind of doing like a protest against this maybe a month ago, or they hadn't done it yet, but there was talks about doing it. I was a little bit confused because apparently on this part of the highway people get carjacked and their stuff stolen all the time. This was our next hotel. It was super pretty, but we were not overly happy with the management. It was kind of a Pretty Woman moment from the movie. We showed up looking like crap because we were traveling and we had our dogs and it was supposed to be a pet-friendly hotel, and it turns out they weren't overly pleased about our dogs. So I had to argue with them and explain that your website says you're pet-friendly, doesn't stipulate what size of pet or what type of pet. So they ended up letting us stay. I would recommend booking online, not at the hotels, because I paid a third of the price that the front desk was charging. This room ended up costing us about $78, and then with the dogs it cost us a lot more because they were big and we had to pay quite the price for them. We loved it here. It was beautiful. It was one of the oldest buildings in the village that we were in. And the one server at the restaurant, he was an older gentleman, I forget his name. He was so sweet and he spoke great English and he helped translate everything to the people at the front desk and the manager. We loved it. Super cute, really great location. Our room had this great balcony. Not all of them do. I would recommend staying here. The food wasn't fabulous, but it was good enough. This is the name of the hotel and the address in case anyone ever wants to stay there.
Someone's swimming in the pool like a little fish. Is it? No, okay, well it's time to get out now. We have to go back to the room and I have to get my...
There was so much history in this old building. We found so many hidden little treasures like this staircase that no one would ever even think to look at. It was such a pretty spot. It was such a shame that the management were so nasty. Like I said earlier, it was kind of like a Pretty Woman moment. Not only did we have issues with the dogs, but they looked us up and down when we came in with disapproval in their eyes, and it was just horrible. They shook their head at Matt and looked him up and down like they were disgusted with him. They treated me like I was less than, and it was just so sad. And then we went back to the room, cleaned up. I put on a nice dress to go get our dinner, and it was almost like they completely changed their tone with us. Such a pretty location for such poor customer service. If they could work on that, this location would be beautiful. They also had reception areas for weddings that were stunning. If anyone wants to have a pretty quaint little wedding in Mexico, I would recommend it. It looked beautiful. Back on the road for a day through hell. I'm sorry, Mexico. I have traveled to you so many times before, but only stayed in like the Yucatan area, and I loved it. But after this experience of driving through the actual country, I will never, ever, ever step foot in Mexico again. The idea of giving my money to a country that I disapprove of so much is just too strong for me. I will never, ever, ever go back to Mexico. However, when we left Missions, the hotel we were staying in, the town was really cute, really pretty. It's a shame it's so dangerous and people are so shady. And like, I feel bad for characterizing everyone, but quite honestly, we didn't meet too many people that weren't shady. And it's really, really sad for such a beautiful country. Even one of the ladies that I was standing next to in customs, who was from Mexico but lives in Texas now, was so disappointed with her country and the people within it, and she was just so ashamed of it all. And she says every time I go here it happens. When I was in customs, there were also a number of motorcyclists that were traveling together, and they were all white Americans, and they too got pulled into the back office like I did, and they randomly picked people and came up with random reasons why people couldn't register their car in Mexico. There was one guy in front of me, and they said that they pulled the Carfax on his motorcycle and it was claimed as a total loss, which was so not true. So he had to pay them off, and we joked about it because he got a bottle of Coke and a taco out of it, and I didn't, and I paid more than he did. He tried to record it and security came and took his phone away. It was just a nightmare. It's, like I said, such a shame because it's a beautiful country. Complete hell broke loose. Like everything else before this was pretty shitty, but this is like a whole other level. So as we were going up a hill, we heard this big massive bang out of the truck and everything just shut off, like completely. We blew a piston out of the truck, right through, like hole in the bottom and everything. No one would pull over to help us because apparently we were on a super dangerous stretch and this was like the worst spot this could have happened. So Matt walked up to some police that were up ahead of us. They didn't speak any English and we had no signal. So they ended up calling the police officers. You just saw their feet because I didn't want to get their faces in. And they brought this one officer who must have been just like an office police officer, and he spoke great English. They called a Green Angel to come help us, and it's a service that you get with the toll highways if you can get a hold of them, which is a whole other story. If you don't have a Mexican phone, you cannot call the numbers for road assistance. It's really stupid. And we were stuck, so we had to try and find someone. We ended up finding the police officers and they called for us. Now, another thing is when you're driving through Mexico, you need Mexican insurance. We had it, but they don't want to assist us. So this first tow truck dragged us up the road a bit to a safer spot. And then we got another tow truck, which is what you're seeing now, who came and had to drive us 2 hours into Puebla, which is where you're seeing us go right now. Once we got there, we stayed at a Holiday Inn, which was the greatest stay ever. They were super accommodating. One of the managers helped us so greatly. He took us to the staff parking for our truck and trailer and let it stay there until we got our next tow situation figured out. We didn't travel around the city because we have the dogs and we didn't want to leave them in the room alone, and we didn't want to draw attention to ourselves. The food was great at the hotel, surprisingly for a Holiday Inn. We loved it. We stayed there for 2 nights, and then I'm at the pool with Miss Ava. We are waiting. We are waiting for our Belizean friends to come save us. They have sent a semi with a shipping container on the back to collect us and the SUV and the trailer that literally has everything that we still own in it. So they're gonna take us to Belize, to Corozal, and then we'll get picked up from our friends from there. Wish us luck. I'll have more videos on the way. So, our friends got in touch with one of their friends who knew a truck on its way. However, when we got there, they were trying to scam, I guess, the people, or didn't tell the truth. We couldn't get our truck into the trailer. We could only get our trailer into the trailer. I honestly felt like I was a refugee running in the middle of the night to save our lives. So this tow truck came to get the trailer and the truck from the parking lot. We arrived to the semi, and then our trip from hell started. When we got to our location in Chetumal on the border, we met our friend's friend, who was a great guy, and he found out that these people abandoned us in a parking lot on the side of the highway and didn't take us to our full destination. We stopped at this really great little restaurant for food, almost in Chetumal. These were the truck drivers. It was him and his son, and they were just schemers, and I have nothing nice to say about these people. We didn't find out till the end, but there was some questionable things going on. Really was super dangerous, and he was a horrible driver. Ava ended up getting car sick and threw up all over me. We were in this truck for about 24 hours, maybe more. The dogs hated every second of it. It was just a nightmare. The roads were horrible at this stretch as well. And then they abandoned us on the side of the highway in a truck stop. That wasn't really a truck stop. It was just like an area off the side of the highway. No lights. We had no idea where we were because we had no signal. We got a taxi and we got a hold of our friends the next day. They got a hold of the guy who arranged this for us, and he was furious. So now he's going to send these people back to get our truck where they left it and return it. They also lied to him and said that we had no money and we didn't pay him when we did, and that's getting all sorted out now. This was the stretch from hell. We're here in Chetamel now. Okay, we're almost there. So last night, to add to our shit show, the people who were driving us in the semi decided that they didn't want to drive us anymore. So they literally pulled over on the side of the highway, dumped our trailer out, and dumped us out. She was sick, car sick all night, throwing up. I had her basically wrapped in a blanket because she threw up on her clothes. And at 4 a.m. they just dumped us on the side of the highway. We ended up finding a cab that would put the dogs and us in it. This sweet old man in this tiny itty bitty car took us to this hotel we're in right now. And now we're waiting for our friends from Belize, which we'll have to wait till tomorrow because today is a holiday in Mexico, so we can't cross the Mexican part of the border to get to our Belize border. We can't do our customs for our trailer because our truck is now missing. All we have left is our trailer. Like, at this point I can't do anything but just laugh because it's just like I feel like I'm in the movie The Hangover and I'm about to see this little Asian man roll up in a black Escalade and go, "See you later, motherfucker!" Like, that's what I feel like at this point.
We're cursed with cars.
We're cursed with a lot of things, I think, at this point. But we're almost there, and on the plus side, I found a razor today because I haven't been able to shave anything in over a week. All right, our last stop on our journey through hellish Mexico. Cute little hotel, nothing special, fairly cheap, seems fairly safe. It's got this great little cafe next to it with the pool. We just hung out and tried to recover from our adventure. This is the hallway in front of our room. As you can see, nothing special, but it was cheap, it's clean. The room service was really good. The cleaning ladies, we didn't let them into our room because of the dogs, but they brought us fresh towels and checked in on us to make sure we didn't need anything. It was manageable, nothing fancy, but a good place to stay.
Coconut.
Made from coconut and banana. Healthy ice cream. With our date truffles. So good or what? So I am very tired. It is what it is. I woke up to no snow, so that's a plus. I think today is our last day in Mexico, thank God. It's been a trip from hell. I just came down to order breakfast at the little cafe at our hotel, and hopefully customs will deal with us today. Our main issue is when I got bribed at the customs at the border of the US. They didn't give me the appropriate paperwork for our trailer, and the trailer was the reason why I had to pay them off, and they escorted me to the bank where Matt ran from his hotel to meet me. So we didn't get the appropriate paperwork for it because we had to pay them off. So now to get out of Mexico, we apparently have to go through Mexican customs for leaving the country, and we don't have the appropriate paperwork. So technically I guess we've had our trailer here illegally, which I'm not surprised because I illegally had to pay the customs lady off $1,000. So here we are. That's why we've been stuck here. Well, one of the reasons why we've been stuck here for a little bit longer. That and we no longer have our truck. So it's been a great time. We have a driver potentially coming today to get us or tomorrow, and I have rented a truck in Belize I have to pick up at the airport. We're picking it up at Avis, which I've used last time I was here. They were great to work with, and they were fairly cheap for a rental vehicle. So I'm going to leave it there, and our next video will be about us crossing the border and getting to our home in beautiful. Thanks so much for watching, guys.